All right. All right. I know you guys all wanted to be naughty. All wanted to be naughty. I'm Skip Elfsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old educational films, and in some cases, really old educational films. So this was a film that was from the Mogul Brothers collection that was about beavers. And this was reel 3. So there were 3 reels of this film, and we've only encountered this third one. I'm excited to see the first 2 at some point. And that might happen. We might actually get more Mogul Brothers later this year. And it's interesting because, it's almost all silent. But it's interesting because it's an early look at 20s and 30s educational films, kind of before educational films were really getting started. So it's more like Animal Planet educational, where it's like, oh, look at the interesting things, and we're going to dabble in science, but we're also going to dabble in anecdotal information about animals. So it's hot today. It's like in the 70s here in Raleigh, which means what happens is all the plants are going to come out, and then there's going to be this like slamming of winter weather. That's generally how things play out. Although, we never know. Anyways, here's a film about heating and air conditioning. And maybe this is a potential career path for you. Enjoy.
Your life work. The old saying, everybody talks about the weather, but nobody does anything about it, is not quite true. Heating and air conditioning engineers have done plenty about the weather, inside our buildings at least. Homes have been made more healthful and comfortable by year-round regulation of temperature and humidity, and by purification of the air. Restaurants have found that air conditioning is good business. We all prefer to drop into one that is pleasantly cool when the temperature outside is unbearably hot. In hospitals, clean air of the proper humidity is provided. It is essential to the rapid recovery of the patients. Wherever large numbers of people gather indoors, ventilation is necessary to remove the stale air and bring in oxygen, the breath of life. The efficiency of workers in factories and offices has been increased by controlling the atmosphere. The cost of such control is often quickly repaid because when employees breathe good air and feel comfortable, they work faster and do a better job. Some industries require special air conditioning to suit the materials and processes involved. Textile mills are a good example. Threads and yarns are greatly affected by humidity and temperature, and break frequently if the air is too dry. Until this problem was solved, textile plants had to shut down and wait for favorable weather before spinning or weaving could go on. Printing and newspaper plants faced a similar situation. Paper swells or shrinks with every change in humidity. A good printing job would be hard to achieve if the paper was a different size each time it went through the presses, or if static electricity due to dryness caused the sheets to stick together. So today, the air in press rooms is rigidly controlled. Stated simply, air conditioning means the creating of artificial climatic conditions in a building. It includes heating, cooling, ventilation, purification, and humidity control. It is a field that is growing and which offers many opportunities for employment. Research engineers are needed by the manufacturers of air conditioning equipment. A great deal of study must be gone into before improvements in existing equipment can be made. New applications are being discovered which call for experimentation in the manufacturer's laboratory. Then there is the job of designing new machines. Production engineers are necessary in the factories where the plans of the designers are carried out. Managing the technical details of production requires experience as well as an engineering background. These factories provide numerous jobs for skilled workers. There is such a variety of machinery turned out that practically all the metalworking skills are needed. However, a single factory may specialize in producing one type of air conditioning equipment, such as the cooling coils being assembled here. Men with selling ability will find air conditioning a worthwhile field if they have the necessary training to go with salesmanship. This work requires considerable understanding of the principles of heating, refrigeration, and ventilation. The salesman must be able to tell the customer what equipment is needed and how much it will cost to install it. A man with an engineering education is best qualified for this job. The installation of the equipment is done by skilled mechanics employed by air conditioning contractors. Large central plant installations are usually supervised by an engineer from the company which makes the unit. Trouble-free operation depends on careful workmanship and strict adherence to the plans and specifications drawn up to fit the building. The operation and maintenance of air conditioning equipment in large buildings is usually the job of the building's engineer. Most of the mechanism is automatic, but it must be looked after, adjusted, and oiled. Men who do this work don't have to be highly trained mechanics, but they must understand the function of the machinery placed in their care. If something goes wrong, the trouble must be located and repaired by a competent mechanic as soon as possible, because the comfort and health of the people in the building are at stake. Men doing this work are often called troubleshooters. Most air conditioning requires some form of piping to carry the air from one part of the building to another. Many sheet metal workers are employed in shops making these pipes or ducts and the special fittings for joining two lengths together at an angle. Sheet metal workers are also hired by heating and air conditioning contractors and not only make parts of the duct system, but also install them in the building. Each building, whether it be under construction or an old one, presents a different problem. The satisfactory functioning of the entire air conditioning unit depends on proper design and installation of the duct system. For instance, if the ducts are too small or the joints are not airtight, the supply of air to various rooms will be insufficient. So all phases of this work must be done conscientiously. Any young man desiring to get into the air conditioning field and earn while he learns might become an apprentice to sheet metal workers or steam fitters. He could then spend part of his time attending classes in a trade school. Here, the theory and physics of air conditioning are explained and demonstrated by simple experiments. The apprentices soon learn that there is nothing mysterious about the subject, that it is quite simple once it is thoroughly understood. By working with models, the students can see an installation in its entirety and learn how it functions. In this particular model, a radiant heating system is being installed. This comparatively new heating method, in which the radiating pipes are located in floors or walls, is just one of the systems studied. Hot air, hot water, steam, gas, and electric systems are all given thorough consideration. Real air conditioning machinery of all kinds is provided so the apprentices can practice installation, operation, and repair. These apprentices are working on a compressor, an important part of the cooling system in many air conditioning units. Through study and experimentation, the apprentice acquires a working knowledge of the gauges and automatic controls which are essential to effective, continuous operation of any system. An understanding of steam, water, and air pressure gauges, and thermostats and relays is very helpful to the apprentice who goes into operation or maintenance work. The student who wants to get into the manufacturing end of air conditioning will find skill in welding a great help in finding a job. The instructors in a trade school know their subjects thoroughly and are always on hand to show the student how to do a good piece of work. Those whose interest is in sheet metal work have ample opportunity to practice on making ducts and fittings. Knowing how to solder the metal together is one phase of this job that must be mastered. When the apprentice has completed his course of training in the trade school, He is well equipped to go into any branch of air conditioning where the mechanic's skills are called for. If he is ambitious, has business sense, and learns how to estimate materials and labor, he may eventually become a heating and air conditioning contractor. Anyone with mechanical aptitude and enough technical training can qualify for factory work, installation, or maintenance. But to become an air conditioning engineer, a 4-year course in mechanical engineering is usually necessary. No matter what branch of the industry you may choose, you will find the work interesting and constructive. Air conditioning has come a long way, but it still has a long way to go. Most people think that it just means cooling the air in buildings during the summer. But when the public awakens to the fact that it means providing health-sustaining air in all seasons, wherever people live, work, or play inside, then it will grow by leaps and bounds. No one can foresee at this time what new applications will be found for it. Surely, it is a field with a future. Perhaps it may become your future.
So there's a whole series of those films. One about restaurant operators, one about church vocations, and we've shown many over the years and over the shows. So I hate to bring it up, but there's a lot of problems with the comments. Some folks, maybe an individual, keeps kind of appearing as trolling, and so this is what the deal is. We try to cultivate a community where everybody watches the films, comments on the films. If people start commenting specifically about trolling or about Star Trek or things that are really off topic, I say two things. One, don't engage with that. We will try to take care of it. Rick Kay is doing it. It's a thankless task. He is not getting paid. He is just sitting there reading every comment, which is something I can't do because I'm always like setting up films and things like that. So we just want to foster community. But if people start obsessing about other users and start making comments with other users or start goading people, that's not appropriate. We're here to have a good time. You are more than welcome to talk about how boring a film is. But if that's all you talk about, then it's kind of not interesting for anybody else. We just realized that you have a low threshold for the films that we're watching here, and maybe AV Geeks is not our appropriate place. Anyhow, where am I? It's Black History Month, so this is about Benjamin Banneker, and I feel like I just misspelled his last name. Man of Science. Enjoy.
A number of years before the American Revolution, curiosity as well as genuine interest often brought Maryland travelers to a little town near Baltimore. Their reason for coming was to meet the distinguished Benjamin Banneker, whose name was already becoming widely known, and to see his new creation, a large wooden clock. The clock was an example of the finest workmanship, but the most remarkable thing about it was that its maker had never seen a timepiece larger than a watch. Visitors might also enjoy scholarly discussion on many subjects. Banneker was a unique man in many ways. He was a free black who owned a fine, small tobacco farm. But his neighbors knew he could solve a problem in mathematics as capably as he could run a farm. Banneker's family background was unusual. His white grandmother, Molly Welch, had come to America from England as an indentured servant. At the end of 7 years, Molly had saved enough money to buy a few acres of hilly land with a good freshwater spring. Since she could not clear and cultivate the land without help, she bought 2 African slaves from a ship in Chesapeake Bay. When the hard work was finished, she freed both men. But the one who was called by his African name of Banneker, the son of an African king, became her husband. Banneker proved to be a capable farmer. From his knowledge of farming in Africa, he invented an irrigation system to flood the fields when rain was scarce. In time, hard work improved their land, and eventually they were producing good crops, even when nearby farms were failing. And so their land holdings grew with each successful year of farming. As a child, Benjamin often worked with his father in the fields. He also loved to spend his free time reading his grandmother's Bible. He thought it contained all the knowledge in the world. One day, a new school opened in the valley, and Ben found many other books to explore. He was most interested in mathematics. His quick mind sometimes created extra work for his teacher. School book stories and problems were often too simple. After his graduation from school, Ben worked on the farm. But with his teacher's help, he continued to study. As the years passed, people became more aware of Ben's remarkable intelligence and mathematical ability. About 10 years after Ben had built his famous clock, a family named Ellicott moved to the valley and soon became friends with the Bannekers. The Ellicotts were Pennsylvania Quakers who had come to build a flour mill. At the Banneker farm, they bought food for their workmen. Fascinated with the machinery in the mill, Ben spent hours helping to install it. The Ellicotts were amazed at his ability. In appreciation of his help and friendship, they gave him a set of books and instruments for the study of astronomy. It was the beginning of a new scientific adventure that occupied his mind and heart for the rest of his life. Soon he was exchanging letters with astronomers and mathematicians, composing and solving problems, often writing in rhyme. Eventually, to devote more time to his absorbing interest in astronomy, Ben sold the land to one of the Ellicotts in exchange for a small annual income. Relieved of his farm responsibilities, he soon formed the habit of stargazing from moonrise till dawn. As one writer put it, his favorite time for study was at night when he could look out on the planets whose story he was reading. Benjamin Banneker was deeply moved by the spirit of the Declaration of Independence. For if revolutionary leaders believe that all men are created equal, surely all Americans, black as well as white, must soon be free. In 1791, at the age of 60, Banneker gained great honor and national recognition when he was appointed to the Capitol Commission, which was to plan the city of Washington, D.C. Working with his friend, Andrew Ellicott, and the chief engineer, Pierre Charles L'Enfant, he surveyed the land for the national capital. When L'Enfant quit the job in a fit of temper, taking his blueprints with him, Ellicott and Banneker reproduced and completed his plans from memory. The same year, Banneker compiled some of his scientific data into an almanac. It offered information on weather and tides, data on the solar system, political essays and poems. Banneker's editor hailed the almanac as proof that the color of the skin is in no way connected with the strength of the mind. This is what Banneker intended to prove, that black men, given an equal chance, could do as well as other men. Few people knew that he suffered, as other men did, from the injustices and injuries inflicted on his race. It seemed to him that the promise of the Declaration of Independence had been forgotten. Even George Washington and Thomas Jefferson still owned slaves. In August of 1791, Banneker sent Jefferson a manuscript copy of his first almanac with a letter urging him to uphold his own declared principles of freedom. Ben questioned how Jefferson could justify detaining by fraud and violence so numerous a number of my brethren under growing captivity and cruel oppression. Jefferson responded that he ardently hoped for a good system which would raise the condition of black people both in body and mind. He also sent the manuscript to the Academy of Sciences in Paris, where it attracted the interest of scientists all over Europe. After his first almanac was published, Banneker's name became world famous. Though the slavery system was becoming stronger by the late 18th century, Benjamin Banneker's life had proved that the genius of black men was equal to that of any race, and someday they would achieve their rightful place in the land of the free.
All right. That was fascinating. And so there's like a series of these Black History films that Encyclopedia Britannica did that are just panning across illustrations. So they kind of rushed these out. It was probably because there was some funding that they were trying to get. And they're like, well, we could do live action stuff, but we'll just do illustrations. But the information's still pretty good. It's very, very frustrating. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. You hit a button and then you don't look to see if you really hit the button, and then that's what happened. It's frustrating that some people are being impostered in the comments, and I'm working to take care of that. So I apologize. It's some individual really wants to troll us and thinks they're being very clever. And it's very frustrating because it's just taking away from the experience from everybody that joins us, and we're trying to cultivate that experience. This film that I have behind me on the film scanner is about dating. It's called The Date. Enjoy.
I'm late.
Mom's always late for you.
Mom.
But I need to hear them from your heart. Your touch keeps telling me it's real. You feel so right tonight. But how will you feel tomorrow? What will you feel for me tomorrow?
What are you two doing tonight?
A movie, Mom.
Speak up, Lori.
A movie, Mom. Okay?
Don't you two ever do anything else?
Mom, please.
Oh, just wondering. Hi, Rob. How are you?
Hi. Oh, I'm fine.
You look nice. Going anywhere special?
Well, we're going to a party.
You look so nice tonight, Rob.
All the better to get you the party, little girl.
No party, a movie.
Party.
No party.
Our party.
My place or yours?
Any place. As long as you're there.
Whose place?
Don't worry. I got the key to Dave's apartment. It's all arranged. Okay, let's go.
Are we? Then we're going right there? Right away?
Mm-hmm.
Is that it? Upstairs?
Uh-huh. Oh, no. Idiot. Help look, huh?
I'm hungry.
Got it. The key. All right, let's go.
I need some food.
You didn't eat anything?
Why should I always eat at home?
Maybe there's something in the fridge. Come
Hey, I don't mean somebody's leftovers. I just thought maybe we could do something first. You know, something nice. Something romantic.
on. Got me. Isn't that enough? Hey, Lori, look. You don't have all night.
Don't.
Don't what?
Just don't push me.
Hey, Lori. What are you doing? Sure, we can eat something, okay?
How about Luigi's? We could have a pizza. Mark and Karen are going there tonight.
Great.
Don't you want Italian food? Let's have a pizza. Please?
Sure, we'll eat something, okay?
I'm sorry. Now you're gonna be mad.
I'm not mad.
Yes, you are.
I'm not mad, really.
You're okay?
Yeah. Let's eat. But let's get back as soon as we can, okay?
I love your hair. I think it's sexy.
Lori, look, really, we don't have all evening.
Well, what's one more hour? Just a little more time. I need it.
You still want to, don't you?
Of course. Of course, you know that.
Then there's no problem.
It's just that I mean, I want to. It's just that I'm not ready yet. You understand, don't you? I want it to be fantastic. Love me?
Everything okay now?
Uh-huh. You too?
Mm-hmm. Let's go. Check, please.
Oh, hey, there's Karen and Mark.
Don't do that.
How come?
We're gonna go right
Oh,
now.
come on, it'll just take a second. Let's just say hi.
Hi, we were just leaving.
No, you're not. We just got here.
Actually, we gotta go. Oh, my God. Ouch.
Oh, you jerk! I don't believe you.
It's okay, we'll just clean it up. No, it's all right.
Who's worried? Karen does that all the time. See, there's someone who's clumsier than you. Let's order.
You eat. I'm not hungry.
I'll be back. Excuse me.
Hey, Lori,
No,
we're
we're just
leaving
gonna,
right
look,
now.
I'm just gonna go dry off, okay?
We're on our way out the door.
Karen, I need your advice. What do you think of Rob? I mean, do you think he really likes me?
Oh, sure. Rob's sweet. You're so lucky.
Karen, when you and Mark, I mean, when things got heavy, did he tell you he loved you?
Oh. It was neat. I didn't have to ask. I just knew. It's changed, though. You know, Joyce, the girl with the really ratty hair, you know, it's up in the back. Well, I hear she's been after him. And if that's all he wants, well, he can have it.
You and Laurie really getting serious, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell. You really get it on, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bet she's great, huh?
Yeah. She is, yeah.
How great?
Huh?
How great is she?
Laurie?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean, how great is she?
What would I do if he left me? How would you feel if Rob dropped you?
You don't think he will, do you? I really have to know. You do think he likes me, don't you? Karen, I don't know. I just get this feeling that I'm someone who's just sort of there. As if it could be anybody else. Any other girl. And it'll be just the same for him.
Is she, she's fantastic as I hear?
What do you mean? What'd you hear?
Oh, I hear things.
You're making it up.
No. I heard about Laurie from Joe. You know Joe.
Yeah, sorta. What'd he say?
Well, they went together, you know. It was it's pretty heavy.
Oh.
Well, You know that Joe kind of gave me the picture of what Laurie's really like when you get her going. Man, just put me through the ceiling. So, I was just wondering if she was that fantastic with Joe. Is she with you?
Yeah. Better.
What does she do?
I'm not gonna tell you all the details, you know.
You haven't even made it with her yet.
Sure I have.
Well, maybe tonight.
Karen, please. I gotta know if he cares. I mean, tonight.
Tonight? What's so special about tonight? Oh, tonight? Oh, Laurie, that's fantastic. Don't push it. Wait till after. You won't have to ask. You'll just know.
Karen, I can't wait till afterwards.
Sure you can. See how it goes. Let it be fun. You'll blow it if you don't. He won't like it.
Come on, Laurie.
Rob.
Don't just stand there.
Rob, I need to know something.
Sure, later, when we get inside, okay?
Do you really care about me?
Look, if I didn't like you, I wouldn't be here, would I?
Sure you would.
Come on, Laurie, grow up. This is really stupid. Let's just have fun tonight. You know, fun?
Am I special to you?
Yeah, sure.
I don't believe you.
Then let's forget it.
Get it?
You won, okay? Okay? I won't go after you. What's the matter? I'm not good enough for you? Well, maybe no one's good enough for you.
Jerk! You didn't even get me any flowers.
You're allergic to flowers.
It could have been something else.
I don't have to prove anything to you. What do you want from me?
I need $1 for a taxi.
Swell, wonderful. Go buy yourself some flowers, all right? Why don't you just go sleep with your pride? It's about all you got anyway. So go.
I don't want to.
You never know what you want, do you?
I just want you to act like you care.
Okay. I'll act like I care.
Not act. For real. Say something. Please.
All right, I care.
Not very much, then.
Laurie, I like you a lot.
You won't talk about it afterwards? I couldn't stand it if you did.
Why do you have to be reassured all the time? Why do you have to be told every 5 minutes that someone loves you? It's no fun this way.
It'll be fun. I mean, I want to. But I can't do it just for fun.
What else do you do it for? I mean, it's just not that big a deal.
For me, it is a big deal. I won't pretend I don't care. I'm not gonna act like it's nothing to make it easier for you. Why can't you tell me how you feel?
I feel sick. I can't stand all this emotion. So what if I do feel like I care? Maybe. And what if I am scared that you're never gonna make it with me? That it's some joke to you? I suppose you're happy now. You see, once a girl knows that you want her, I mean just her, then she can do anything she wants to.
Like what?
Like drop you or just laugh at you.
I'm not laughing at you.
You're not.
No. I'm laughing at us.
Why?
Because we're the same about this more than we're different. I mean, we both feel the same way.
I like you.
I believe you.
Let's go to that movie.
Sure. I'd like that.
You melt my resistance with your smile. I need your love, and I've known it from the start. Tonight, you're saying such sweet things with your eyes, but I need to hear them from your heart. Your touch keeps telling me it's real. You feel so right tonight, but how will you feel tomorrow? What will you feel for me tomorrow?
I feel like I was duped into showing this based on the description in my database, which I pulled from a film database. It says, the date, 1977, Little Red Film House, presents a comedy about human relationships, recording the games, anxieties, awkwardness, and humor associated with teenage dating. Presents a comedy. No. Anyways, I was watching this because I'm doing a show tomorrow in Durham at a place called The Fruit at 7 o'clock. It's called Awkward Love Makes the World Go Round. And I was like, well, maybe I could show this film. I haven't seen it, so maybe we can show it because it's about dating and it's a comedy. No, I'm not going to show it because it's just a downer. I should say, as a public service announcement, for those of you who are watching, this I recommend. If you don't know what this is, you're too young to know what this is. I'm not going to say what it is, but it is an AV Geeks item, and it will be a door prize that will be given out tomorrow. We're also doing the show at the Alamo Draft House in Raleigh on Valentine's Day, again, 7 o'clock. So there you go. What do we got left? Comedy, come on. Seriously? All right. Let's learn about Colonial Shipbuilding and the sea trade. That'll clear the palate. Enjoy.
To early 17th century New England settlers, it was always an exciting event when they first sighted ships arriving from England. These ships, built in England, sailed by English crews under the command of English sea captains, carried people and goods to the New England settlements. The people were mostly Puritans, coming to America to worship in their own way, which they could not do in England. They brought with them news from home that the settlers in New England were always eager to hear. But more important, down in the holds of the ships were the cargoes the ships carried. Here were the possessions of the new settlers that they would exchange for land or livestock and seed for their farming. Here, too, were goods that English merchants were sending to New England for trade with the settlers there. These cargoes were important to New England settlers, most of whom were farmers. The New England farmer usually worked with tools made in Europe. He was able to get hoes, spades, and axes, saws, knives, and other important implements in trade for food he raised that he did not need for his own family. With his surplus products of agriculture, he was also able to get many items his wife wanted in the home. A Puritan wife, in order to make her home a comfortable place in which to live, had need of kettles of iron for cooking in the fireplace. She needed pewterware, such as pitchers and platters, and many other kitchen utensils that came from England. And since women made and repaired the family's clothes, they needed thread, needles, thimbles, and pins for sewing. All such products came from England, too. So did much of the fine cloth they depended on for making the clothes themselves. Thus, New England farmers and their families were almost completely dependent on manufactured products from England brought on English ships. As long as the farmers could continue to trade their surplus agricultural products for English manufactured goods, life in colonial New England would be pleasant and secure, and the settlers would continue to prosper. That was why English ships, bringing Puritans and valuable cargoes, were such a welcome sight to 17th century New England settlers. After 1641, few ships came to the seaports of New England to bring settlers. Because conditions had become more favorable for the Puritans in England, fewer were leaving. Merchants agreed that without English ships to bring in goods, the settlers could not trade their surplus products of agriculture. Without such trade, the New England settlements could not prosper. There seemed but one good solution to the problem. New Englanders would have to carry on trade themselves by building their own ocean-going ships. New England was well suited for shipbuilding. The coastline of the region was irregular, with many inlets and bays that made excellent harbors for ships. The many rivers that flowed into the ocean provided good locations for building ships. Many small vessels had been built on such rivers since the earliest days of settlement in New England. New England's great forests had already been used for providing English ships with tar and pitch, and ship timber for spars, planks, and tall, sturdy masts. Shipwrights, men who had mastered the skills of shipbuilding in England, were employed to build a merchant fleet of ocean-going ships for New England. Wherever there was timber near the water's edge, shipbuilding developed, and many cities grew. Men came to work in Portsmouth, Newburyport, Salem, Newport, New London, and most important of all, Boston. And And so began a great shipbuilding industry. Work was encouraged by English merchants who ordered many of the newly built ships, since they could use many new vessels for England's growing sea trade with other parts of the world. The ships of New England merchants carried surplus agricultural products from the surrounding settlements for export. In the years that followed, the products of sea trade changed as agriculture declined in New England. Then the ships carried other products of this region and the other colonies to world ports, and shipping became New England's major industry. From Newfoundland and the Isle of Shoals off Maine, New England ships collected cargoes of fish and carried them to important markets in the islands of the West Indies. From New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, grains and meats were carried on New England ships to the Canary Islands as well as to the West Indies. From New England, the Middle Colonies, and North Carolina came products of the forests. Lumber, tar, pitch, and turpentine were needed in West Indian ports. In the West Indies, products were exchanged for money, sugar, and molasses, or bills on London, which could be exchanged in London for money or goods. Some sea captains who had sold their goods for money sailed to London to buy English manufactured goods. Then these goods were brought back to New England for sale or trade. The ships returned to Boston with a variety of imported products. From Boston, smaller vessels distributed some of the goods to surrounding coastal settlements of New England. At these ports, the vessels picked up more New England products and returned them to Boston for export. Thus, Boston became not only an important 17th century shipbuilding town, but an important shipping and commercial center that contributed to New England's economic development. Newport, Rhode Island also developed as an important New England shipping center. In a similar manner, New York and Philadelphia grew to be centers of 17th century colonial commerce and contributed to the development of the middle colonies. These trading activities and methods of marketing goods were directly related to the use of New England-built ships in world sea trade. But what was England's attitude toward this commercial activity of the colonies? English ships from earliest times dominated the trade in the southern colonies, where tobacco was the most highly valued and profitable product. In a series of laws known as the Navigation Acts, English lawmakers sought to control all colonial shipping. For example, this act of 1663 stated that European goods for the colonies must first be shipped to England. There, duties would be imposed before the articles were reshipped to the colonies. These laws were designed to give England a financial monopoly of the profitable colonial trade. But England could not control American sea trade. For merchant ship owners in America, such as those in Boston and other major ports, disregarded the Navigation Acts. They continued to trade directly in ports all over the world. And so, 17th century New England colonial settlers, the farmers, lumbermen, fishermen, skilled craftsmen, were able to obtain the goods they desired to make life in America as pleasant as it might have been in England. And for generations to come, shipbuilding and sea trade created a wonderful era of prosperity for the colonial settlers. Shipbuilding directly provided work for many people in the colonies. For the lumbermen and craftsmen, such as the carpenter, the sailmaker, and the blacksmith. The shipping industry of New England contributed to the strengthening of the commercial, political, and social ties among all the colonies. Because of the prosperity brought by sea trade, the colonists had a better means to pay for imports from England. Their own colonial-built ships voyaged to the many ports of world trade. And so life became more pleasant and more secure for 17th century settlers. They were ensured a rising standard of living because of the prosperity brought to colonial America by shipbuilding and sea trade.
Hi there, friends, and welcome to New York Harbor. Today we're the guests of the Cunard White Star Line aboard the beautiful and palatial 80,000-ton SS Queen Mary. We have a host of travelers out here today, and some people we think you'd like to meet. Today we'll be talking to
personalities from the world of the films, Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy. Mrs. Maygo, let's run over if I can get between the boys and meet Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy. We have done, excuse me, fellas, if I can get in here, we've done wonderful interviews with both Laurel and Hardy, but separately. We've never had them together, and I want to develop and build and try and get as much of the Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy story if I can, but try and keep it on a straight, plain basis. You know, no comedy. That's going to be awfully hard. Huh? Won't it be?
What do you mean, huh?
Hey, Stan, when did you and Oliver first get together?
Oh, I think it was about 26 years ago.
To my way of thinking, that's somewhat of a show business record when it comes to film. It's films, a team being together that long, isn't it, Oliver?
I think so, and as much as we've never had any fusses or fights or squabbles of any kind. Always friends.
How did it all come about? How did you first, sort of form together in a team?
Oh, I was directing at the time, and...
And he was the lover?
No, not quite that, no.
The leading man?
Well, no, not quite that.
The second lead?
Well, maybe, yes, I think the second lead, all right.
The heavy.
And then what happened, Stan? The two of you, you directed him in a picture and you decided...
Yeah, well, he burnt his arm one day and couldn't go into the picture, so I went in for him, and when he got better and came back, then we decided to work as a team.
Oh, you ruined my story. I thought he was going to say he could do it better than you, and he was trying to show you
Well,
how.
he did 100% better, and incidentally, that picture was the origination of the cry that Stan does in the film. He did a butler in the picture and had to do the cry,
wonderful.
And he's spontaneity. You want to see it?
I'd love to see it. Wonderful. You know, you fellas sort of originated a lot of things in the movies. I believe in your early pictures like The Flying Deuces and many others, you were the first ones to come up through the grounds from a tunnel.
Yeah, we've been through a lot of tunnels. Yes, that was the one we did, that we were escaping from prison, and we had dug through the ground for about 3 weeks and finally thought we were outside, but when we dug up, we were in the warden's office, so we had to go back.
You always get out, though, somehow, when you're in prison. What's the favorite picture that the two of you have, Stan?
Oh, I think one of my favorites is Fra Diavolo.
That was a costume picture with music.
That's
a great big deal.
The opera, yeah.
Was he the romantic lead in that?
Well, he tried to take the place of Diavolo, but failed miserably.
How about you, Oliver? Did you have any special part that you liked?
Oh, that's my favorite, Jack. And incidentally, that picture has been revived 12 times in Italy. It was running in Palermo when our boys went into Palermo, and
you know, that's something that we don't have, I don't think, in pictures too much today, and that is the comedy pictures that you fellas make sort of live on for years and years. People go to the theater and they can still chuckle about them. Is it in the writing, Stan?
Oh, I don't think so. I think it has more appeal over there because there were very simple ideas and wasn't much to think about. It was more visual and talk, of course.
And keeping in character.
And pantomime.
Well, Stan is a past master of pantomime. He taught me all that I know about it.
You do very well. And the past master, of course, does very, very well, too. Did you, in the early days, write all your own scripts?
Oh, yes, such as they were.
I take it, then, that you went out with a piece of paper and an idea and said, well, we're going to shoot a full picture in 2 days.
That's right. It was just really a plan. That's all we had to follow. The rest is what we call shooting off the cuff.
The thing that I like about the Oliver and Hardy story is the fact that 26 years and we're still together as a team and we're still knocking them out. It's sort of real show business to me. Have you felt that way about your own association?
Well, we get an awful lot of pleasure in making pictures and appearing in public and enjoy each other. Stan is the funniest thing in the world to me, and he thinks I'm funny.
You compliment one another.
Well, he thinks of things for me to do, and I think of things for him to do, you see. So in that way, there's no friction.
Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy, I want to thank you both for chatting with us. Once again, we always find you quite the most wonderful people to come out of Hollywood, and to me, of course, the real top when it comes to comedy, because I always enjoy seeing a Laurel and Hardy picture, even on television. We have them now, you know.
Thank you.
And so, friends, we come to the end of your Ship's Reporter program for today. Ship's Reporter is produced on film by the National Television Guild and directed by Chick Vincent. Until next time, then, this is Jack Mangan, your Ship's Reporter, wishing you and yours the smoothest in smooth sailing.
Right. I threw that on. I've shown that before, 2 years ago. But this was part of a series, and I don't know if it was made for television or... But basically, you'd have celebrities who were traveling to Europe or other parts before air travel was really going across. I mean, there was air travel, but I think that people still took kind of luxury for whatever reason. Anyway, so you'd have somebody on there who would make arrangements with the agents of the celebrities, and then he would interview them, and then they would distribute it. So that's Laurel and Hardy. And I put a link in the comments for other ones, and I think this ran from 1948 to 1952. And I had to kind of cleanse the palate for that Colonial shipbuilding film, which was a little dry. I figured it was like, wow, let's just show something with ships. If you are in the Triangle area, tomorrow I'm doing a show at The Fruit at 7 p.m. This is in Durham. You can go to my Facebook page, AV Geeks Facebook page, which still exists, and you can find out more information there. We're also doing the same show at the Alamo on Tuesday, which is Valentine's Day at 7 p.m. in the Video Vortex space. You don't have to get a ticket. But thanks for tuning in today. Very much appreciate you watching in spite of all the trollery. And we'll be back again next week. And we'll show you some more films. Because you know what? We got a bunch more films. And I'm talking to somebody about getting some more films. So this is kind of unending until a whole stack of films falls and crushes me to death. We're going to be watching films. And then if I get crushed to death, I'll figure out some other way for somebody else to continue doing what we're doing. Because these films were made to be watched, and I think watching them in the 21st century is a great way to do that. Thank you, Jeremy, for the super thanks donation in YouTube. You can also donate by going to ko-fi.com/abgeeks. You can also go to patreon.com/abgeeks, or you can just hit the thumbs up button or the like button, or other ways to say, yes, we like what's going on here. Everybody take care. Have a great weekend. As always, I heart films, and I'm happy that you do too. So we'll see you next week. Bye.